Hi, my name is Andreas, and some say the perfect aircraft does not exist yet. So I decided to build it on my own. If you love aircraft, follow me, get it from dream to reality. Let's go! Hey, and welcome back, my friends. Last week we finished building the molds, which we will now use to create some real parts. We first start with a mock-up fuselage, which we will use for building the interior shells and cockpit parts. If you stay with me until the end, I will show you how to build such a part using the vacuum infusion process, which ensures ultra-light parts with the highest possible strength. The form is covered with a layer of polyvinyl alcohol for separation, so we can get the part easier out later on. It's not necessary to wear a mask at this point, as there are no chemicals used except for spray glue, but I am used to this mask by now, so I just always have it on. This part will later have 3 layers on the outside and 3 on the inside. The mock-up doesn't fly at 6G+, so it requires less strength than the real fuselage, and we are able to substitute the carbon fabric with cheap glass of similar thickness. The fabric is being secured to the mold using a special spray glue, which will dissolve later when using the real glue and be part of it. In the vacuum infusion process, you first build the part without glue, then compress it using the vacuum, and it will then be substituted with glue, which is sucked in by the vacuum. This way you ensure a part which uses the bare minimum of glue while still having the same strength and save about 20% of weight that way. Another 2 layers later, which I'm not going to bore you with, we are adding the sandwich, which in our case is the so-called 3D core. And here a short clip of the category oddly satisfying videos. Honestly, I think I could do this all day. Let's have a quick check if you have obsessive-compulsive personality disorder. You are already feeling nervous? Sweat running down your back? No? Okay, then you're fine. The reason why we are using 3D core is that it is easier to manually put into a 3-dimensionally formed mold. It also speeds up vacuum infusion, which makes bigger parts easier to build, and it has a really good strength against delamination. For production aircraft, we would likely switch to air-racks, as these would be built by a professional company with the abilities to pre-cut and heat form the cores, but the prototype will use 3D core in any case. Here you can see us glue the core into position, and you can see its advantage that you can just add strips wherever you want, like if they were Lego bricks. Core thickness is 1/5 of an inch only, but it will get reinforced by 2-inch thick profiles in the canopy area later. Okay, so this was one of the hardest tasks, and we are already working on the last patches. Let's have a quick look at how it turned out, and well, I think it got beautiful. Let's not forget there is another 3 layers of fabric to be applied. The process is exactly the same as for the first 3, so I won't bore you showing how we did it. Only difference is that you intentionally keep it a little bit loose at the boundaries, so it can later slide into place under vacuum to avoid bridging. The last layer is triple mesh. It's called that way as it combines 3 different materials in one. It has one layer of peel ply, which gives a matte surface and helps to separate the above layers after the glue has cured, one layer of perforated foil, which helps to create a more even distribution of the glue during the process, and a layer of green mesh, which increases glue consumption by about 20% but speeds up the infusion by a lot by providing more space for the glue to flow and therefore reducing the flow resistance. In the end, you just have limited time where the glue is still fluid, so time is often an issue. And now finally the last step, sealing everything off with an airtight foil. On the left side we are attaching an inflow line for the glue, which consists of a slotted tube. It acts like a highway for the glue to flow at high speed along the edge and then get out through one of the slots and pass into the fabric lying below. On the right side we are adding a diaphragm tube for evacuating the air. It's also a slotted tube but covered with a diaphragm, a material where air can pass through but fluids can't. This ensures that our expensive vacuum pump will not suck in any glue and get ruined that way. Our last task to do is attaching the yellow vacuum bag in an airtight manner. For sealing, you can see a double-sided tape all around. It's called tacky tape and you can imagine it like a very bad tasting chewing gum provided in tape form. I am kidding, of course, I have not tried how it tastes, but it really resembles a well-chewed gum in how it behaves. The vacuum bag has to be slightly larger than the form in order for it to touch the surface everywhere. To accomplish this, we are adding a few 4-inch long folds to the bag every feet or so and are also sealing it with tacky tape. Now let's just finish up sealing the bag and then the preparation will finally be finished. Let's have a short look before vacuum infusion can start. In the lower right corner you can see the inlet for the glue and in the upper right corner the air outlet passing through a resin catch pot and then further to the vacuum pump. The catch pot is used as a last resort in case that the diaphragm or the seal to it is failing. So thanks a lot that you stayed until the end. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe, or you will miss when the actual infusion is done in the next episode. See you again next week. Fly safe, fly Horus.